What's some artists that you listened to growing up that influenced you, probably?
Growing up, Gucci, my phone, heavy on Gucci, man. Lil Wayne.
I learned Lil Wayne. I wanted to be Lil Wayne. And I would wear the fedoras and I would wear the tight polo tees with the skinnies and wear the Vans and shit.
Gucci was that, like, that. I don't know how he had the wave, but he had that wave, like, from, like, Thug, like, Pee Wee Long, like, Waka Flocka.
I always loved rap. I'd listen to all Wayne songs, all Hot Boys. Wayne was my favorite artist. I really didn't listen to nobody music but Wayne.
Chicago people just loved Gucci, man. He like everybody's idol, man. He like a gangster, man.
The Wayne is like the real GOAT. Wayne reading, we got dreads, dye, all type of shit.
Right.
Like, that's who really started, like, this whole everything.
Since the beginning of rap, certain artists rose to become more than just rappers. They grew to be icons, symbols, and inspiration for the next generation of artists, setting the trends and controlling the direction of music. People like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Biggie Smalls, Tupac, Nas, Jay-Z, and Eminem all reached this status, inspiring entire generations. However, in this video, we're looking at the inspiration on the current generation of hip-hop and which rappers played the biggest role in influencing it. When you look at where rap is today, including everything from the dominating sound to the way artists record and put out music, and even their look and style, a lot of these choices stem back to two artists. Trap is by far the most popular genre of rap, and although these two artists didn't create the trap genre, it is hard to make an argument for anyone else shaping it more than they did. The artists I'm talking about are Lil Wayne and Gucci Mane. Lil Wayne's impact is undeniable. It's very simple to look at most of the biggest artists and see the resemblance both in music as well as style and image. Gucci's influence is clearly there as well, but it is less obvious because it comes from his influence as a rapper, as well as his A&R skills that allowed him to find some of the biggest talents of the last decade, including names like Waka Flocka Flame, Young Thug, and the Migos. So in this video, we'll take a look at why these two are the most influential rappers on the current generation. Before we get into the video, there is one quick announcement for any artists, clothing brand owners, content creators, social media influencers, or anyone else looking to promote their goods or services or get paid to promote someone else's goods or services on their platform. New School Promo will be launching shortly, and this will serve as a network between those looking to promote on YouTube, Instagram, and any other network with micro-influencers in the 10 to 100,000 subscriber and follower ranges. So if you have anything to promote or a channel or page that fits these requirements, check out the link in the description. Lil Wayne started his official career in the late 90s, and Gucci started in the early 2000s, but both of these rappers started hitting their peak influence around the late 2000s and early 10s. And it just so happens that this was the period trap music began to take over the world. So Wayne and Gucci would end up setting the standards for how rappers went about making trap music. To understand the full impact both of these artists had, we'll take a look at separate as well as collective trends both rappers set. Atlanta was the center of trap music in the 2000s, and during this period, there were three main figures on the scene: T.I., Jeezy, and Gucci Mane. T.I. and Jeezy took a more lyrical approach, putting effort into their lyrics to paint a picture of their life and tell their story through the music, while Gucci went a different direction. He rapped about what he did, but he never focused on lyrics or doing anything complicated with his rhymes or trying to paint a picture with his music. He became known for his signature lazy flow and catchy hooks. Gucci focused more on swagging on the beat and making music that was fun to listen to, even if it didn't really have any meaning, and this is definitely the direction trap music took through the 10s, as almost all the big artists abandoned attempts to make music that was thought-provoking or told a story and focused solely on the sound and feel. One of the biggest impacts of Gucci's style that he never gets credit for is Chicago drill. He had a huge influence on the city of Chicago, and Chief Keef has stated that he was one of his primary influences when it came to making music. The early drill beats in 2011 and 2012 were directly inspired by the late 2000s and early 10s Atlanta trap sound, and so were the laid-back, simple flows and catchy hooks Chicago drill rappers used. And these rappers' biggest influences were Gucci and Waka Flocka. When it comes to Wayne's influence on trap music, it comes more from his experimentation with sound. Wayne was extremely lyrical in the period from 2006 to 2009, but this isn't what the majority of rappers in the current generation took from him. It was his later days experimenting with auto-tune and melodies that had a huge impact on rappers like Young Thug and Lil Durk, and his experimentation jumping into rock music that inspired people like Lil Uzi and Trippie Redd. His style also played a major role in shaping the next generation of artists. The dreads, skinny jeans, babe hoodies, face tattoos, piercings, and everything else Wayne was doing would all become standard in the next decade as more of the rappers he influenced would begin to blow. When it came to recording styles, both Wayne and Gucci Mane were big influences on the trend of freestyling songs instead of writing. This is nothing new, and Jay-Z and Biggie didn't write either, but the reason the majority of today's artists choose to punch in goes back to both Wayne and Gucci recording like this, but mainly Wayne. One of the more unfortunate influences Wayne and Gucci had on rap was their love for syrup. Houston first introduced the drink to hip-hop, and legends like DJ Screw and UGK were some of the first people the public saw using it. 3 6 Mafia and UGK's smash hit Sippin' on Some Scissor also contributed to popularizing the drink, but in the late 2000s, Gucci and Wayne heavily promoted drink, and unfortunately, the majority of artists in the following years would pick up the cup, and artists like Future, Young Thug, and others would go on to make it even more popular, and something the majority of rappers to this day are still indulging in. Arguably, the biggest impact Wayne and Gucci had on rap was their approach to dropping music. Both of these artists were heavy believers in flooding the market with music. According to Wikipedia, Gucci Mane has dropped over 70 mixtapes, and Lil Wayne has dropped nearly 30. In the early 2000s, mixtapes weren't really a thing, and artists were dropping albums on a 2-year schedule. The approach Wayne and Gucci took to dropping music was revolutionary and defined the later half of the mixtape era. Instead of taking their time and being selective with the songs they put out, they freestyled, recorded quickly, and put out music at a crazy pace. A lot of Gucci songs from the late 2000s aren't even mixed and mastered. Many refer to this as the fast food approach to music, and whether or not you agree with it, you have to admit it was effective given the rise of the internet and the shortening of consumers' attention spans. Basically, every rapper in the trap genre following them has taken this approach, dropping tons of mixtapes at a crazy pace, especially Future, Young Thug, and Young Dolph. Even in the current streaming age, the reason artists like NBA YoungBoy drop projects as frequently as they do most likely stems back to the influence of Gucci and Wayne. So far, we've covered the impact of trends Wayne and Gucci started, but this is only part of their impact on the genre. The other part is careers they've touched. Lil Wayne's Young Money Collective introduced Tyga, Nicki Minaj, and Drake. So Wayne played a crucial role in establishing Drake, the biggest star in rap history, as well as Nicki Minaj, one of the more impactful artists of the last decade. When it comes to Gucci Mane's influence co-signing and introducing new stars, this is possibly the strongest factor in his legacy on rap music. He's one of the best ever when it comes to identifying up-and-coming rap stars. In the late 2000s, Waka Flocka Flame wasn't even a rapper. He was just a part of Gucci's entourage until Gucci encouraged him to rap, then introduced him to the public, and the rest is history. Gucci also discovered Young Thug and the Migos early into their careers, signed them, and worked with them frequently in their early years, helping them to reach success. He also linked with Rich Homie Quan, Young Dolph, and Future early into their careers before they blew up, and collaborated with them a lot as well. Atlanta in the 10s was the center of the rap world, and Gucci Mane either discovered or was an early cosign for almost every artist who came out in these years, making his influence undeniable. Even in recent years, the rise of Pooh Shiesty in the new 1017 shows that Gucci Mane still has his ear to the streets and is still able to identify stars early on. So overall, when it comes to their impact on the sound, recording styles, approach to dropping music, and all the other trends that are present in modern rap, Gucci and Wayne are a big reason for a lot of this. When you look at the biggest artists of the past decade, the majority of them either looked up to Gucci and Wayne, had their career impacted by one of these artists early on, or both. The two have their fingerprints all over trap music as we know it today, and this makes them the two most influential artists on the current generation of rap.